Hello everyone. Vision is most important sensory function in human body. Our eyes enable us to see the beautiful world around us. So dear students, let's discover more about this wonderful organ of the body with the help of this human eye model. Each eyeball is attached to 6 muscles working together to move the eyeball in any direction. Coming to the structure of human eye. The wall of eye is made up of 3 coats: fibrous tunic, vascular coat and retina. Fibrous tunic is the outermost thick and tough layer. It has 2 unequal parts. The posterior part, which is larger, tough covering, that is white in color. This is sclerotic. It is made up of white fibrous connective tissue. Its main function is to protect the inner parts which are mainly enclosed in the orbit and in the area protected by the eyelids. This sclerotic is covered by a thin layer that is called conjunctiva. This is made up of stratified squamous epithelium and it keeps the eyes moist and clear. Second part of fibrous tunic layer, that is anterior part, is cornea. It is bulging, transparent, exposed front part of human eye. It is non-vascular. Its main function is to refract the light, and important thing is this to remember is this, that though it focuses the light but it cannot change its shape. So cornea is the clear front window of eye that transmits and focus light into the eye. Coming to middle layer of eye, middle coat of this one is choroid. It is the vascular part of the eye which is present along the inner side of the sclerotic tissue. It darkens the eyeball for total absorption of the light and also provides nutrition. This colored circular part of the eye is iridial part. This is iris, which concentrically surrounds a black aperture called the pupil. Pupil is like a black dot in the center. Color of the iris comes from melanin, the same pigment molecule that gives our hair and skin the color. Pupil is the opening in the iris through which the light enters into the eye, and iridial muscles controls the diameter of the pupil according to the source of light. As the iris allows more light into the eye by dilating the pupil when the environment is dark, and it allows less light into the eye by constricting or shrinking the pupil when there is bright light outside. So the pupil size is controlled by the action of pupillary, sphincter and dilator muscles. So this iridial part act like an aperture of camera lens in accordance with the amount of light in immediate surroundings. Most interesting thing about this iridial part is that it not only reacts to the light but also to our emotion. If you look at something or someone you like, your pupil widens. So we can say that the external parts of human eye are cornea, sclerotic, iris and the central pupil. Part of human eye is retina. It is innermost layer made up of light sensitive cells. It acts as a film of camera. It has 2 type of photoreceptors on it, rods and cones. Rods are sensitive to dim light and cones are sensitive to bright daylight. Color, they see color and sharp details. In nocturnal animals, for example in owl, retina has mainly rods, so they have sharp night vision. While in diurnal animals, for example in most of birds and also in humans, retina has mainly cones, so these have poor night vision. When it's very dark, only your rods work, so the world becomes blurry. Switch on your lights, your cones switch, giving you highly defined vision. There are 2 spots present on the optical part of retina. This is blind spot. This part of a human eye is without rod. It has no nerve ending, no sensory cells, as the light falling on this part is not registered by the brain. So no image is formed at this part. This yellow color area on retina is macula lutea. It is densely packed with cones, so it gives much more detailed vision. Fovea centralis is the central depression in this yellow spot. It is the point of maximum visual acuity. Each photoreceptor on the retina is attached to nerve fiber, and these nerve fibers from the retina, they are bundled together to form this optical nerve. The photoreceptors present on the retina convert the image into the electrical signals, and this image information is carried to the brain through this optic nerve. Behind the iris in human eye sits the lens. Lens in human eye is transparent, biconvex and attached to the ciliary body. This white portion is ciliary body. The ability of the eye to adjust to the focal length of lens to make clear image of the objects lying at varying distance is called accommodation of the eye. It is a reflex mechanism and it is done with the help of this ciliary muscles. By changing its shape, the lens focuses the light onto the receptive part of human eye, that is retina. When the ciliary muscles contracts, the lens becomes thick and the focal length decreases. When the ciliary muscles relax, lens becomes thin and the focal length increases. So the contraction and relaxation of these ciliary muscles helps to alter the curvature of lens. So dear students, we have seen that our eye is not shaped like a perfect sphere. Rather, it is a fused two-piece unit, as lens divides our eyeball into two chambers, an anterior chamber and a posterior chamber. The anterior chamber or the aqueous humor extends from the inside of the cornea to the front of the lens, and anterior chamber is again subdivided into two parts, subanterior chamber and subposterior chamber. The subanterior chamber extends from cornea to the iris, and the posterior chamber extends from iris to the lens, and the posterior vitreous chamber extends from the back surface of the lens to the retina, to the retinal portion, and both of these chambers, they are filled with fluid. Vitreous chamber extends from the back of the lens to the retina, receptive part of the eye. It is filled with the jelly-like material called vitreous humor. It contains 99% of water, collagen proteins. If you close your eyes, you can see tiny particles floating in this fluid, eye floaters. Each chamber, both the chambers, anterior and posterior chamber, are filled with fluids. It is the pressure generated by these fluid which fills out our eyeball and helps our eyes to maintain its shape. So dear students, human eye, the wonderful organ of our body, acts as a photographic camera in which cornea, conjunctiva, lens, aqueous humor and vitreous humor collectively act as small lenses, forming the focusing part of eye. However, lens brings the final adjustments. Iris acts as diaphragm by regulating the amount of eye. Retina forms the receptive part, and image formation in human beings is a refractive process. Thank you.